find your own control. Politicians and celebrities make deals behind closed doors, promises broken, and their income source. Hidden agendas run the grand parade. In the circus, choose a masquerade. Believe me, I wouldn't lie. I've been given money, power, and fame to keep you in line.
Welcome. Today we will be reacting to Hyperboron Knowledge. It's another YouTube channel, and his video that was literally from 4 years ago, and that maybe like a month ago went viral. So it seems like it's the algorithm wanted us to hear about this. It's very timely. We've all been brainwashed, and we're starting to kind of like come out of the brainwashing and the conditioning and realizing that the entire time we were growing up, everything that we were exposed to was a form of manipulation, was some sort of like, I don't want to say, before I get on to what I'm saying, everything is allegedly, opinions only, just for fun. Like, we are just having a good time talking about nonsense, right? Like, this doesn't mean anything. Anyways, so here is his video on how, wait, no, it's here. How do I put this one? Oh no, there we go. There. Okay. So this is the video, right? So I'm going to play a little bit of it so you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about today. And then I'm going to go over definitions. He's just talking about millennials, but I'm going to add some Gen X lore to the program. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about Gen Z, some things that they were programmed to do. And I'm going to kind of guesstimate what the programs for like alpha and whatever is going to be. And Gen Z, it's a big mess. We have all been manipulated our entire lives. Everything is a psyop, allegedly, just for fun. We're just joking. We're just kidding. This is just a joke. This is just a joke stream, just for funsies. We're not talking anything serious. So please do not take anything I'm saying seriously, because this is just for fun, right? All right. So here is his video.
So in this video, I will be discussing some of the conditioning and programming that went into the millennial generation. Now, when I mean millennial, I mean the general understanding of what that age group is. And essentially, it's people born within the early 80s to the mid 90s. Now, there is some debate as to the exact date, but let's just keep it at that.
We don't care.
So what is it about us millennials that
it's all of us
brings out the worst in so many other generations when discussing us? Well, let's go back a bit. Let's kind of look at how we have been programmed, how we have been conditioned.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? I got so brave, drink in hand, lost my discretion.
The prize, an epic VIP event where the champion and his closest friends will enjoy full bottle service and the company of our sexy VIP girls.
A man named Mystery took 8 lovable losers.
I'm petrified of trying to go up to a woman.
They say I'm really sexy, the boys think I'm the sex.
2 trailer park girls go round the outside, round the outside, round the outside.
Now, I can remember, as young as grade 4, going to these dances at this hall owned by the Knights of Columbus. Now, these dances were from grade 4 to 6, and we were basically at this bar simulation. It's the best way I can describe it. It was a bar simulation. We would all go in there as young as 9, 10.
Simmer down.
There was a bar, but it served Coca-Cola and soft drinks. And in the front of the hall, there was a little dance club where they were playing rap music about smoking crack and grinding on each other. Little John was a popular song at the time. And we were these kids being pushed by society, our parents, our culture, into engaging in a bar-like scenario.
Dude, it wasn't our parents pushing us to be in the bar-like scenario. It was literally, this was happening in my elementary school. right? They would have bar-like, club-like, even like VIP sections, and everybody was booty dancing and the teachers were cheering it on, right? In the old days, like the teachers were there to chaperone. They were there to pull you apart if you got too close. You sure as heck were not allowed to be grinding up on each other in the 50s and the 40s and the 60s. Like, this is not a real thing. So I'm just saying, please do not think this was our parents doing this. We literally were being brainwashed and mind controlled, and the teachers were in full approval. There were adults that were not our parents that had access to us that were in full approval of sexualizing children. This is a real thing that happened, right? So, yes. So he was talking about that. I'm going to talk about like some of my own things and then we'll go back to his. All right. So let's first get some definitions of what we're talking about. So when I say things like brainwashing and programming, you have to understand that anytime something is like it's repetitive indoctrination through media to normalize behaviors, often subconsciously. And you can do this easily, scientifically proven, via mere exposure effect in TV ads, in media, and anything. So when you see something over and over, when you hear something over and over, it becomes normalized. This is normalization, right? This is how it starts. This may be true as well. Teachers do have problems like that. I would say yeah, a lot of them have, like they peaked in high school and they never wanted to come down. They never grew up. So they want to be children. They don't want to teach children. A lot of them. I'm not saying all of them. But anyway, so this is the indoctrination. Then we have psychological subversion. So this is like the art of war inspired tactics to weaken groups without direct conflict. So this is going to target primarily the males to make them passive. They want passivity so they can easily be controlled. You must have passive males. That's why this took multi-generations to achieve, and it has come into fruition. You guys, we're seeing the fruits of all of their labor, aren't we? So then we're going to say PSYOPs, psychological operations. These are very coordinated efforts, often through culture, media driven, to influence perceptions and our behaviors. So this is your typical subliminal messaging in films and music, right? We're learning about smoke and crack or whatever from listening to the music. And we're just like, I guess this is normal, right? I guess we're gonna do this, right? Or like, do you remember like every freaking movie showed high school kids losing their virginity on their prom night? And this was just like, this is your rite of passage, right? You're supposed to go to prom night and hook up with someone because you don't want to be a virgin in college because it's going to be weird, right? Like this is programming. Why would they show being a degenerate to children? Why would they show us this, right? There's nothing here about family, about, not being promiscuous, about loyalty, about not cheating, about, saving yourself for your spouse, about not being a degenerate. Everything was promoting hookup culture, right? Yes. And the house party became very popular. All the movies were teenagers making a house party with drugs and alcohol and banging each other and nefarious things because the parents took a date night or the parents went on like a mini vacation or whatever. This is like a real thing that happened. I went to some epic house parties. I'm talking about not 30, 40, I'm talking about hundreds of children, hundreds of high school children, like packed in houses because the parents were gone, right? So we had And this was all programming. Like if they had shown us movies where the kids were getting together and playing chess and like having a good time playing chess and like chewing bubblegum, we would have been playing chess and chewing bubblegum. But no, they specifically showed us degenerate things. And like, you're cool if you can hook up. You have to go to the party and get drunk because it's going to loosen you up so that you can hook up with other people. And it's totally consensual if you're drunk and they're drunk. Like, this is literally this is fine. Like, as long as we're all drunk, everything's consensual now, right? There's no consequences. This is serious programming. This wasn't just like, whatever, let's get them to buy Coca-Cola, which is nefarious enough because it's trash. But this is to ruin generations of people. And we want to blame the boomers. We want to blame the people before. We want to blame this. This was a psychological psyop that was a multi-step, multi-generational project that was done on all of us, all the last few generations, and continues to be done. So you need to stop saying boomer this, boomer that. Do you think our boomer parents and grandparents knew what the crap was going on around them? They're living their life. They're doing one foot in front of the other, just like we are. Stop. They were being psyoped. We're being psyoped. Our children are being psyoped. Our grandchildren will continue to be psyoped if we don't stop it now. So let's get into it. Gen X, we had this very negative programming in music, movies, TV. MTV was Gen X was the MTV generation. 1981, MTV starts, right? And that's when we're first faced with like cynicism, slacker indoctrination started emerging, cable TV, grunge music, ironic films, laying the groundwork for later generations' passivity, right? Gen X was told, be a slacker. We coined the term slacker, okay? This was our generation's big thing. Like, we're all slackers. Why try? Just be a loser. Don't even try to dress well. Don't even try to don't try hard in life. Everything, like, it's not cool if you're smart. It's not cool if you're athletic. It's not cool if you work for a corporation. It's not cool if you get a high school. Like, everything was just like, just be a loser. Loser culture, slacker culture was being promoted. Just party, drink, sleep around, and be a loser. Smoke pot or whatever the heck it was, and like, be the slacker loser. Don't do anything with your life, right? So TV roles started fostering things like detachment. Shows like The Simpsons. I know we all love The Simpsons, but let's see it for what it was. Okay, it started in 1989. It satirized family and ambition, and it normalized dysfunction. Yes, we've always had dysfunctional families, but when you are shown dysfunction over and over again, you are normalizing it in society. So you will create more dysfunction. So instead of it being a rare offshoot thing that happened in a few homes, it started spreading to all of them because it's normalized. So when you start seeing people on TV talking shit about their husbands and their wives, that is normalization. So then it becomes cool. It becomes normal. It becomes no big deal. It becomes a funny joke. But in real life, there's no laugh track and you're just being an asshole. All right. So then we had Beavis and Butthead, 1983, right? It mocked all effort in life as being uncool. All effort in your life is now uncool. And it programmed a generation for apathy, right? Then we have the music industry's grunge rebellion, right? Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit, 1991. Let's see. I think I have something on that. Did I put that? Here we go. Oh, here's the definitions, if you guys want to see that. And yeah, here we go with Gen Z's programming. Okay, I want you to pay attention over here to next to me, Kurt Cobain in the dress, right? You want to pretend that what's going on now is new, but they started it generations ago. They have been programming us to accept this BS for generations, okay? So I just look at this quote from Kurt Cobain, right? Smells Like Teen Spirit, 1991, channeled teen angst into ironic detachment rather than action. So they want you to be detached, not to be a go-getter, not to go out into the world and happen to the world. They want you to just sit back, let life happen. Who cares, right? And it promoted things like Pearl Jam, R.E.M., whatever. They promoted emotive, anti-macho vulnerability, skinny, loser type dudes that are effeminate and sloppy. Like this is not even like a put together drag queen here. This is a sloppy dude in a dress, and people went crazy for it. Men were going crazy for this, right? This is serious programming, all right? So it softened the shit out of masculinity. Like this is where it first became. Where were the masculine role models? Like they were slowly chipping away at any sign of masculinity happening to the world, all of that. Just complain, just be a woman, just literally wear a dress. Okay. So he said, I like to wear dresses because they're comfortable. It may be subversive as far as very small amount of people go who've never seen men in dresses before or who aren't comfortable with the concept. But I don't give a shit about those people. Anyways, there's nothing more comfortable than a cozy flower pattern. Kurt Cobain, 1992. Okay? Think about this, right? This was the most played. And you know when they say the top 10 music, whatever, of the week or of the year, of the month or whatever, there is no choices. They're not listening to the people. They are putting what they want us to listen to in the top 10 because they know if they repeat it over, and they were literally like top 100 radio stations. So they would play the same 100 indoctrination songs over and over and over. And you sat there, you chanted the lyrics to the indoctrination program willingly. And you internalize that, whether you like to admit it or not, you internalize all of that. And you came into agreement with all of this slacker, loser, apathy culture, right? And we all did. We were all victims of this. This is MK Ultra shit. This is not just, we didn't freaking know. We were children. They were doing this to generations of children over and over and over again. So anyways, then we have movies promoting underachievement. Okay. So let's see if I have anything on that. Okay. There's more. Oh gosh. And the Courtney Love stuff. I just want you to just look at these images from our childhood, you guys. I just want you to see what they were doing. Because at the time, what did we think was what happened? Do you remember when men and women used to dress classy, and they would wear custom fitted, beautiful clothing, and they would, have pride in their appearance and pride in their work, and they strived to do better than generations before. We were trained the complete opposite. Don't try with how you dress. Don't try with your makeup, ladies, because look at this. Just look like a sloppy, I don't care person, because that is cool. Looking like you don't care is now cool. Think about what that does to a generation. Think about it. Okay. So then we have the trashy movies. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't watch Reality Bites. I never really saw Clerks, and I didn't see the Singles one, but apparently these were the big ones of the slacker generation. I am so sorry that I didn't care to watch movies, but most of you guys probably did growing up. And it's more of the slacker culture. So it normalized dead-end jobs, sarcasm, over striving. Anytime someone tried to do better, they would smash them down, right? So they would just insult them. It glamorized the post-college life with the slackers. So it was like, oh, wow, I could be a loser and I could date women. I could be a loser and like, bang around. Right? It was it was pretty bad. Yes, you guys. All right, let's see what is next. Okay. Do you all remember like the whole whatever? Like, I don't care, whatever. What do you think that talk to the hand? Talk to the hand. Oh my God. All of that was teaching us to not put pride in anything about ourselves or others. It was just absolute insanity. Yes, everybody, the lowest expectations, the lowest effort society was being modeled, and you were being praised for low effort. Think of that. Just stop and think. I don't care. Now I'm cool. No, you're not cool. You're not cool because you don't care. You're not cool because you don't care what you look like. You're not cool because you don't respect yourself. You're not cool because you think your body is a trash can. That's not cool. All right. Then we have MTV bombarding everyone with videos emphasizing consumerism, irony, news coverage constantly of recession. So like we had like a lot of economic cynicism, depression about like we didn't feel like the world was getting better. News coverage of recessions, and it even like stressed us out and depressed us. And then we started seeing like a rise in relationship problems. High divorce rates became normalized. They forced men and women to go to the workforce together and all at once. It wasn't like it used to be like, yes, women could always work. You could always work. Not every woman got married. We know this, but the majority of women did. Right? And they stayed home with their children so that they could raise their children, so they could watch their children, so they can make sure other adults with nefarious intentions did not have access to their children. But when everybody's working and everybody's miserable, they have full access to the children. And it's easier to program children when you have full access to them, right? Who remembers waking up on Saturday morning to watch cartoons with subliminal programming in it, right? And who remembers like being a latchkey kid, going home and being able to watch whatever you wanted, and the types of nonsense that we were allowed to watch because nobody was watching us, right? Okay. Then we had like, the Kurt Cobain, the vulnerable dude. Then we had a lot of feminism being pushed, the sensitive guy tropes. They showcase a lot of movies with slackers and losers and people who didn't try, people who didn't better themselves, people who just did not do anything. And then they gave them the title of the nice guy, right? Like, you didn't do anything. You didn't achieve anything. You don't work out. You don't do well in school. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. There's nothing you've done. But then you get the hot girl for nothing. So this was shown to us. So then why are we going to try? Why are we going to get good degrees? Why are we going to, push hard? Why are we going to push hard to like look presentable, to look clean, to make sure like our shoes are shined before we go to school or work? If all media is saying, just don't try and you'll get everything that you want and more for not trying. Just be nice. What the hell is nice? Nice? A nice, useless loser? A nice, useless slacker that has achieved nothing? That's what they wanted us to do. That's what they wanted us to be. And they did this to the women too. Just be agreeable and nice. And some dude will come. No, this is not how life works. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to better themselves. Okay. Then we had very high cynicism in relationships. Job hopping started to happen, right? So this is really bad because it used to be you stayed in one job for the rest of your life, and you were constantly promoted, and the jobs wanted to give you good benefits and good raises to keep you there. And then at the end of it, you get a nice like bonus. At the end of the year, you get a fancy gold watch or some garbage, something like to say like, we value you as a human and you've given your life to the company, and this is all good stuff that you got in response, right? Usually pensions, right? But then they started taking those away. No more pensions, no more getting anything good. Like everything just started immediately going away. Okay, and then you had all right, let's see what else. Okay. So the latchkey children became a thing. And what do you guys remember, like coming home and you're a child and you're a latchkey kid and you're basically given this disgusting processed food, which is actually better than the crap we get at restaurants now, ironically. So, but you're eating this disgusting processed chemical food. All the colors cause different behavioral problems, and they were heavily colored, right? So like this is like, look at the Fruit Loops, all these colors, yellow 40, red, I don't know, red 40, yellow 5, I don't know, like all these toxic additives. And Capri Suns, I found like a lot of them had mold in it. Like, because when you can't see inside the packaging, you're just assuming they put so much sugar, you don't even notice when it's like gone bad, because it's always going to taste a little good. And if you put it in the refrigerator or whatever before, so it's extra cold or it's like a little frozen, like you won't taste all the mold. You won't taste how it's spoiled, and you're drinking that crap. And then those TV dinners, the microwave became like all the rage because children could start cooking for themselves kind of in the microwave. Like, oh, so healthy. I got like this plastic tray that I'm going to like supercharge heat in the microwave with radiation. Oh my gosh, I'm so healthy now. And the food had no nutrients because the radiation basically like makes it useless. So you're getting calories, but you're not getting nutrition. So we became like unhealthy. We started to gain weight, gain inflammation. Like we started to just really have a lot of problems in this generation. Then you have, and we already know that cereals were literally created to ruin our hormones and to take away testosterone from men. And it also gave estrogen dominance to women, because the sugar and taking away the testosterone, that the little bit that women have, it makes more estrogen. And when women are estrogen dominant, they become kind of angry and masculine and, bitchy, really bitchy. And now we have hormone problems. And as soon as we get the hormone problems, what are they going to do? They're going to put you on birth control. And what is that going to do? It's going to pacify you enough to like choose effeminate men, to want to be a boss babe, to like be able to work in a man's schedule, because women only have the energy. This is reality, biology. We only have the energy for 1 to 3 days every 28 to 30 days, right? Every 28 to 30 days, we get 1 to 3 days that's the same as a man, where we wake up and we have energy. If you look at women who are not on any synthetic hormones and they're not going through anything and they're just like all natural, no processed food, just they only have energy in the mid-afternoons, right? And then it kind of tapers off. It's maybe like 4 or 5 hours in the middle of the day, not when people are driving to work, whatever. Like they can't get out of bed. It's ridiculous. So they have to basically destroy their hormones in order to put them into the role of men at work in the same time as men. And there's more conspiracies about that, the whole working culture. There's conspiracies about like they purposely want you in traffic for like an hour to 2 hours to get to work and to come back from work. This is by design, because they found out. They did testing on this, you guys, and I've said this before. They know that if you give someone only 4 hours of work a day, they work harder, better, and your business will thrive. But they also know, guess what? We can't do that. Because if we do that, people spend more time at home with their family, raising their children. They're happier, they're healthier, they're mentally less stressed out, they're mentally better. And when people are all those things, they are not good consumers. So the more time we siphon from people, the more stressed out and miserable and depressed and anxiety ridden they become, the more money they spend to try to fill the void. Happy people don't buy anything, right? They buy the basics, they buy what they need. Happy people go to the grocery store and they buy healthy food naturally by design. If you are going to the grocery store and you are looking at sugary, colorful, chemically easy to eat chips and garbage food, you are under stress. You are miserable. That's why you want that. You want cheap dopamine. Cheap dopamine comes from the stress of society and these artificial worlds that we have been concocted for us. It's like a living hell that we are in, and it's by design. None of this is by accident. They tell you things like, do you really think people can't design all of this? Do you really think people in power are so smart that they can design all of this? They have been experimenting on us forever. Are you kidding me? Go look up all the government experimentations on populations that have been released to the public for us to look at. And you're telling me that they don't do that? You're telling me that they're so inept that they can't plan ahead? There are literally interviews of people saying how they're going to do this to the American people. And then it happens. But they can't do that. Everything is conspiracies, you guys. None of this is real. So anyways, we did have some good times, Gen X. Let's talk about the good times. We had arcades. So we got to hang out with people. Our friends, we got to hang out with our friends playing video games in arcades, and that was really cool. It was really cool to, have your bike gang, like a gang of kids, of friends, a bunch of other latchkey kids, and you're hanging out in the neighborhood, and you're, like in the movie, what's it called? E.T., whatever, all the kids with their bicycles running around. Like, we got to do that. That was cool. We had some social time left. It was before they took the social aspect of our lives completely away, right? It was before that. What we still had it, okay? And it was good. I'm not going to say everything was bad. We had some good moments that, unfortunately, the kids today, they don't have that. So, arcades. Oh, and also mall life was a thing, right? Being a loser slacker, but going to the mall and just like literally being at the mall was what we would do. We would just sit in the mall, browse. We didn't buy anything. Maybe we had some cheapy mall food, right? And we would just hang out with our friends. And that's just the thing to do. All summer break, we're in the mall, or we're just with our friends riding bikes. No parental supervision. Some parents dropped us off at the mall before they went to work, and then they would pick us up at the end of the day. And we're there the whole day. Make it work. How much money do you have? Maybe we had like $4 each. Put something together, get like a big thing of nachos and a Coke or whatever. Like that was life. We used to, yeah. Yes, and I remember skipping school with my friends, riding like a bus and the rail and whatever, and going to the beach, fully clothed, walking on the beach in the middle of the day, trying to make sure like a copper doesn't see you, because if you're like a certain age, they can like, I don't know, do something against you, whatever. I think there was like a curfew at one point. Like if you were 16 or younger, you couldn't be out past, I don't know, whatever time, 9 or something, 9, 10. And if we were at a movie or whatever, we had to like, come up with a lie or whatever, or hide from the cops. It was like crazy. Yeah. Yes, this is true. Arcades were kind of teaching us to gamble. Do you remember? It wasn't just video games. It wasn't just put a coin in and play a video game, which that's not gambling. That's just like, I'm playing a game. I'm, consumerism. Yes, it was consumerism, but whatever. But they had where they would give you tokens or whatever, and you would gamble with tokens and get tickets and stuff. That was a thing. We were totally being taught to gamble at a young age. Even the claw game. Remember the claw where you try to get a stuffy or some crap? Everything. Like, oh, I'll get it next time. Give me more money. I'll get it next time. But do we? And like literally the stuffed animal was like always the cheapest, crappiest quality. It is what it is. But yeah, riding bikes is cool. We had some good things. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did not follow the helmet laws. I'm sorry you did. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. I remember parents like leaving us at Chuck E. Cheese for the day. It's like, I got to work today. It's summer. I'm going to drop you and your friends at Chuck E. Cheese, because they would like stamp your hand. So like no other adult could like take you out because they had to match the stamps. So literally it was like, we used it as like, preteen daycare or something. Ridiculous. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So some other things. They did kind of polarize like rebels versus yuppies. Do you remember that? Where they always made like the rich preppy kids like so like they're the villains of every story. They're so uncool. Look at them. There's no rips in their clothes. They don't have stains on their clothes. Their hair isn't greasy. It was literally like taking care of yourself and not being a loser is like being a loser. Like wild, wild, wild stuff. Right. And I remember like music labels used to exploit like indie scenes. So whenever like you were like an indie person coming up in the music industry, they'd basically buy you off and they'd make you do like garbage. And they pretended like the music scene was indie and anti-corporate, whatever, but it was just like a fake thing. Everything was corporate. Everything was consumerism. Everything was buy this brand of, Janko's big ass jeans. They were way more expensive than regular jeans. And you look like a dork. I mean, it was kind of cool, but it was kind of dorky. I don't know. Like you guys, like I know it was a psyop. I know it was to make us look like sloppy pigs, but I kind of still like the baggy jeans. But I know it was a psyop because like you're not supposed to dress in like, freaking baggy ass worker clothes. Like, come on, you're supposed to be trying to look good. Like, think about like the people who are like highly successful. Like they have nice fitted clothes and they take care of them. They mend their clothes. Like if there's a hole in it, they mend it. Like they take pride in what they wear. They weren't just wearing like shit that didn't fit them and saying, now I'm a badass. But we did that. We fell for it. We fell hook, line, and sinker. And we paid more money to look sloppy, which is wild. All right. So, Gen X's cynicism, slacker culture, eventually they evolved it into millennials, digital hedonism. And that intensified the weakening of people in society, right? So that's when, like Gen X, we played video games with our friends and the neighbors' kids, right? Together, we rode our bikes. There was some social stuff. Going online was available, but it was rare. It was reserved for like a few people, which like even they did it rarely. Even the people who were online in the beginning in Gen X, they did it rarely. And we kind of made fun of them for it because I was being made fun of whenever I was online. So I know you got made fun of. It's like, why would you be online? That's for weirdos. That's for like the, freaks and stuff. Even though we were dressing like psychos. Okay. So, Yeah, and I remember when I was online, I just remember like my friends from the neighborhood would just knock on the door, throw like little pebbles on your window, like get the hell outside. We're outside. Get off the computer, nerd. And I'd be like, oh, all right, I'm off the computer. I'm off. I'm coming. I'm coming. Anyways, and then like the millennials, they had a very multi-layered attack, just like Gen X, just like we did. Media, education, the food started getting more trashy. Social norms designed to create more passive consumers. So compared to the previous generation's programming, like the baby boomers was just by TV ads and the news scaring the crap out of them. Gen X had the grunge rebellion. Now we have the rise of reality TV, the real world normalizing drama and superficiality. Getting famous by being famous first started. So like you're famous for being famous. Like you've done nothing. You're just famous for being famous. So crazy. And the worst personality became the most memorable and therefore the most famous. So like if you're the villain in the group, you become more famous, you can get more money. So they were like, so if you were just a nice, normal, boring person, no fame, nothing. Nobody remembers the people who were nice. They only remember the shittiest people. So then monkey see, monkey do. We all started trying to be the shittiest people because you want that attention. You want that because you're dumb. You're a dumb child. All right. So villains, liars, cheaters became stars overnight. Good people, boring, ignored. We forgot about them. Then we have jackass being promoted, and people could now get famous and rich by being actual morons who do dangerous, irresponsible things. We laughed, and society crumbled beneath our feet. So we need to please be careful what we find funny or entertaining because we are perpetuating our own destruction. And I know you guys have fond memories of looking at Jackass. Oh my God, he stuck something up his butt. Are you freaking serious? Giving money to people who stick crap up their butt and like humiliate? Like there's no, like it was the anti-shame culture. Like we destroyed ourselves. We laughed while they destroyed society. We laughed at it. We turned losers and morons and people who like physically harmed themselves into kings and queens. And we just laughed. And I'm not jelly, you little more beat your asses. No. We laughed. They got paid. And we taught generations, this is how it's done. And now we are seeing when everybody is a jackass, when everybody is a lying, cheating villain, what society becomes. And we thought it was funny and entertaining. And here it is. Is it funny and entertaining now, guys? Is it funny and entertaining when everybody out there is trying to become famous and make money by being literally the worst people on earth? All right. So we had things like cartoons and teen shows introducing the party theme, right? Like the party dynamic. We all got to go to parties. We got to drink and we got to, smoke and dress like morons and hook up with randos. So it's like it started escalating in teen music, partying, movies and videos and clubs. We had preteen clubs. We had teen clubs. All right. And yeah, actually, a lot of them were not chaperoned. There were some, I guess, on the cruise ships, they had some chaperones when you would go to like the teen clubs, but like the schools would have these parties and nobody freaking told you anything. If you're grinding up on each other, there's nobody's going to stop you. Nobody cared. Like this was really bad. And then of course you got the house parties and you got like This is very normalized. So then kids just started, there was always one parent in your friends group that's like, just come and drink and smoke and party and do alcohol and all that stuff at my house, guys. They wanted to be the cool one. They were probably also like the predator ones too, right? Or they just gave up and they're like, well, if you guys are going to do it anyways, at least do it so I can watch you, which is terrible too. Like, none of this was good. None of it was good. Why do you think millennials are so crazy? Because looking back, they realize I did all of this garbage when I was a child, and then they have kids and they're like, what? I would never let my kid do any of this stuff. This is absolutely degenerate. This is guaranteeing like child pregnancies and alcoholism and cheating culture and everything wrong with society. This is the antithesis of good, strong families, of good morals, of good values and virtuous people. This is what destroys everyone. And they were a part of it. We were all a part of it. And we thought it was fun. We thought it was fun to destroy society. Yeah. So, we had foam parties and rave influenced by like crappy electronic boom boom type boom chicka chicka boom music. It was so ridiculous. Hookup culture, drugs, drinking. The music was always about drugs, drinking, hooking up, cheating, selling or doing drugs, drinking alcohol. Like, do you remember like Shaggy? It wasn't me. She caught me banging on the counter. It wasn't me. I even had her in the shower. It wasn't me. We were singing the lyrics to the degenerate trash of the world. And you think that's programming. That's programming. So then when people get married, it's like, it wasn't me. I'm so funny. It wasn't me. I'm a cheating loser. It wasn't me. My family's destroyed. Now my kids have a stepdad who's probably a predator, but it wasn't me. Do you see? Do you see how easily we laughed, we sing along to the programming, to the songs to destroy our futures, and we thought it was fun. It had a good beat, bro. It had a good beat. Every TV dad had a beer belly, was a lazy loser, right? Cracking open that can of beer, spreading their legs and watching trash TV when they got home, ignoring their wife, ignoring their family. The kids are on drugs. The kids are skanks. Do you remember? Al Bundy was the best example of a father that we had. And his son was a loser. His daughter was a skank. And his wife was like begging for attention and she sucked at cooking. Right? I'm just saying. And we laughed. We thought it was so funny. It was so funny. Yeah, reliving the past. Like every freaking teacher now that wants to hold like some rave for your kids. Reliving the past, right? I scored 4 touchdowns in one game in high school. And now I'm going to become a high school coach and I'm going to hit on all the high school students, right? Like this is what it is, right? Like growing old was being a loser. That's also programming. Aging was being a loser. Like, oh, you're old. Oh my God, you're so old. Instead of like, I've achieved stuff. Look at what I've achieved. I have a house. I have a family. I have this. Do you remember all the movies? We always talk about like feminism and what that did to women. Do you remember all the movies saying that like a steady, solid provider man was a loser and you had to be with the homeless dude? You had to leave him to bang the homeless dude because your heart. What? Like all of this is programming. The guys fell for it. The girls fell for it. We all fell for it. We are all to blame. Stop passing the buck. Stop saying it was them. It was the women. No, it was the men. No, it was all of us. We laughed. We partied. We thought we were having a good time. And look where we are. Life was all about checking out as a father. Where's the fathers playing catch? Where's the fathers giving the heart to heart with their daughters to not be a hoe? Where's the fathers teaching their son how to be a man? Where's the fathers doing that? It was all checked out fathers. Generation of checked out fathers. The most important influence in a child's life after age 7 is the father. The lack of a strong father is the lack of a strong family, is the lack of a strong society. And we laughed. Okay? Cheating and sleeping around and lusting over women while you were married as a man or a woman was considered funny. What, Peggy Bundy did it. Al Bundy did it. He and his friends and she and her friends would do it and laugh at their husbands, laugh at their wives, right? Normalization. The degeneration of society was normalized. Making fun of your wife was considered funny. The old ball and chain, right? Instead of protecting your family, you were trashing your family, right? And making fun of your husband, calling him lazy and dumb. This was normalized for women. Call your husband lazy and dumb. This is fine. How's that going to go? How's a marriage going to go when you're making fun of your wife and when she's making fun of her husband? How's that going to go? What is that showing the kids? You were all psyoped into thinking cheating and lusting forever is normal. Yeah. But men need to have multiple women. As we can see by the OnlyFans generation, if you tell women that they can have multiple men, they'll jump right into multiple men too. If you tell people this is normal, they will do it because we are monkey see, monkey do animals. We are just following the psyop, perfectly following it. Whereas you have the actual elite, not the ones that they show us. We think we're seeing the elite. We're seeing a token few that they've propped up, given some power, blackmailed, so they fully control. And those are the ones we see. The actual elite, you don't see them. You're never going to see them. Their names are not even Googleable. So let's not even pretend that you know who they are. They emphasize family above all else. You have to have respect for your family, trust. You know, everything is about loyalty once you reach that point. The lower points, it's all about blackmail. And then they have us, which is just, we don't have any rules anymore. We're just all whatever we want to do, degenerate, whatever. So, nightclub culture. Pitbull, Flow Rider, Kesha, Black Eyed Peas, glorifying partying and alcohol. They tied in energy drinks. So we all started, Red Bull gives you wings, right? We're all flying around high on caffeine and shit. I was there the day that they released Red Bull and to concerts and stuff like that. Ridiculous. Yes. Let me put this because, there you go. So, hedonism was encouraged over having long-term goals, being stable, being a good person, being moral, being virtuous, waiting till marriage. All of these things was, now you're a loser. Oh, you're still a virgin? You're a loser, right? Remember they told that? And then they said, well, you're only a loser if you're a virgin, if you're a guy. Who are they sleeping with? Are they sleeping with each other? What are you talking about? If you're not a virgin, that means you have to sleep with somebody else that's a woman. So we can't have virgin women and, non-virgin. This is ridiculous. This is to set everybody up. Okay. So then we had, swingers? Do you guys remember these type of movies, Cruel Intentions? I didn't see Swingers. I get the premise. It's about a guy who doesn't want to grow up and just sleeps with random women. And it's glorified. Oh my God, so fun to sleep around and be a whore, right? To lie to people, to lead people on, all that stuff. And then you have Cruel Intentions, which was basically just saying there was like the virgin girl, right? And it was like, let's take this virgin girl and let's corrupt her and destroy her. This is fun. Ha 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 ha. And then it was like, let's take the other like goody goody girl and destroy her and make her cry. This is fun. Ha 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 ha. And it was like I think it was like they were like step siblings and they had like a thing. It was like so much wrong with this. And this was shown to children. And we like to pretend that if you put, oh, it's PG, whatever, it's rated R, we were all watching it. We're all sneaking in. Our parents couldn't tell us no. Because they were completely busy working and in traffic. They were stuck in traffic. And then they were working and they were tired and they were fighting with each other because they're both miserable because they don't have any free freaking time. And then they resented their children because they didn't have any free time and they couldn't raise their children. And so they couldn't be bothered with what their children were doing. So, yeah. And then we have, what else happened, you guys? Gets better. We had The Game came out, 2005, Neil Strauss, right? So what did he do? He basically perpetuated that he was the Andrew Tate. He was the first Andrew Tate. Look, he even looks like him. This is the first Andrew Tate. Just have a lot of hoes. Be a skank. All women are trash. Right? This was the first Andrew Tate. These are these people that you think are real people. They're literally just psyops. This is all controlled opposition. This is all controlled operatives. This is all like they pick what to promote because what they want society to do. You know why if you start an OnlyFans, you make so much money? Because the system wants you to at least get some money so that you get hooked and you become more degenerate. And then you have to up the ante. Because these are the things that they farm you for, right? They farm you for your sexual promiscuity, cheating and lying, stealing, manipulation, hurting each other. This is what they want. So all of that is going to get promoted. So the most successful people are the people who do these things the most. All right. And then this movie came out. I didn't see it, but it was all about sleeping around. And oh my gosh, I'm such a wonderful guy because I'm such a whore and I don't have a family and I'm really old. That's what was considered cool. And then this is some dark stuff. I don't even want to get into this, but like, let's talk about how women were influenced now, right? This is not a good thing. All right. This is very, all right. The late 70s. So this is when the whole psyops for women really like kicked off, right? The American psyop against women, right? Promoting underage little girls as sexually attractive. It began the most blatantly with Brooke Shields. She was ground zero for like, and you want to say like, oh, well, they kind of started with Shirley Temple, but it wasn't as, this was blatant. This was the most sickest thing. All right. In 1976, Playboy published nude photos of Brooke Shields, who was 10 years old at the time. It was called like a different publication, I guess, for underage people, which was called Sugar and Spice. As you can see, the white that's cropped out so that you don't see her nude, but this is the type of degeneracy that they were doing. So like basically, and there's a documentary you guys can watch on this, and it's basically talking about how she was exploited as an underage girl. Basically, her mom sold her. It's really sick and twisted. But you have to understand that they were trying to perpetuate the idea of childlike bodies as being the most attractive, right? So then younger and younger girls became hypersexualized. We had 14-year-olds like half nude on runways. Okay. Remember the movie Kids? Does anybody remember that degenerate garbage? Little kids banging each other. children, right? All right. So here are some of the things that like they programmed women to believe. Okay. All men are going to cheat. Men only want young girls. Pregnancy makes you thicker. Yes, you do get wider when you get pregnant. Your rib cage and your hips thicken out. They expand and they stay that way for most people, if not everybody. You must be childlike and thin, plus add fake boobs, or look like Jessica Rabbit, right? These are your options as a woman. Better to be a boss babe and become the man you wanted than get cheated on and left a single mother with a more motherly body, right? Only have children to secure finances because men don't love. These were the propagandas women were being fed. Always keep your job at the expense of ignoring your children because men cheat and leave. So you must always be ready. This is a propaganda on women. And you can say it's not true, but it is, right? This is what they told women. This is all the media basically said the second you turn like a grown up, you are useless. And if you keep telling women they're going to hit the wall and no one's going to love them, and that men are just going to lie and cheat, and it's okay for men to lie and cheat, women are not going to want men and they're not going to want to have children. This is the problem with society because we let these people tell us and we agreed to it. All right. In Asia, it's so bad because they're a little ahead of us that women, grown women, 30, 40-year-old women will talk with a high-pitched little girl voice and act really silly and stupid because they're so afraid of looking like a grown-up and not being attractive or having their husband leave them. So, like, this is insidious stuff. Oh my God, woo-woo. Remember that woo-woo? That's what this is the late stage woo-woo, right? All right. Okay. Then we have testosterone dropping, virginity crisis, sexless men, male dropout rates increasing, women are outperforming men. They're going to college more. 25% decline in average levels among men aged 14 to 40. And Gen Z millennials have even lower than precedent. I can't even say that word. People before them. Okay. Virginity crisis, 27% of men 18 to 30 are virgins. Sexlessness rose from 9% to 24% among young men. And it's probably higher because I was like 20, 23. Dropout rates, men increasingly opting out of education work. Women earning 57% of bachelor's degrees. Now, I'm not saying they're all earning great degrees, but this is what they're doing. At least they're earning something. 35% of young men have had no sex in the last 3 months, right? So you tell women that men will lie and cheat and leave them when they get older, and you take the testosterone out of men and you give them corn addictions. And this is the result. Men don't trust women. Women don't trust men. Everybody hates everybody. Everybody's like a slacker or like a boss babe. We have male slackers, female boss babes. Everybody's lying and cheating on each other. Ridiculous. Let's compare that a little bit to, we have super bad 2007. I think it's 2007. Yeah. Super bad, knocked up. We're like the loser is the winner of the movie, whatever. The losers get the girl, blah, 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 knocked up. This reinforces the need for no growth, no personal growth. Contrast that with Rocky, right? Remember like the Rocky, like montage of like, I'm becoming stronger, better, whatever. I'm becoming something. There is no becoming. We were not taught to become. We were taught that we don't have to do anything and everything we deserve. So we had victim mentality embedded into us. Right? And then instead of the thing that's really crazy is instead of bettering yourself to get what you want in life, bettering yourself with education, bettering yourself with starting a business, bettering yourself with working out, bettering yourself with reading and becoming more intelligent and whatever. There was like the rise of the pickup artist. So it's like quick fixes, but very manipulative and does not lead to a long-term relationship, right? And then when that doesn't work, because obviously that doesn't work because you didn't change, you just manipulated. Then the backlash is black pill. I'm defeated. I give up, right? So now we're here, right? And we're going to get into what to do about it. Simmer down. Then you have two things where you have either like, I'm going to manipulate to get women. I'm going to lie, cheat, and steal, manipulate to get women. And then you have I'm going to be the nice guy. So I'm going to be, a simp, basically. So it's like you have these two options when you're a guy, simp and whatever. So like, this is just not ending up well. So then you have like the baby face feminization of men. So like Jonas Brothers, Justin Bieber, like young looking baby men. K-pop happened, soft masculinity, boy bands, right? And then, estrogens in the water, phytoestrogens in the food, plastics, BPA, pesticides, soy, low T, fertility issues, PCBs in the water causing sperm quality drop. All of these things, like everything is happening all at once. Yes. Stop. No. So then you have archetypes like intellectual but passive. So you avoid physicality. So you're like, this is more like I'm the nerdy simp, right? And then you have like sedentary classrooms that favor girls. So then boys have to be medicated for ADHD, which gives them a lot of problems, including weight gain and all this low motivation. ADHD people are motivated. When you take them and put them on drugs, they're not motivated. So you have gamers and athletes over here. Before, the boomers used to have jocks who read. It was normal to be like a Renaissance man, a Renaissance lady. You knew stuff. You knew history. You knew art. You could play sports. That was normal to do all the things. The idea that you had to pick one thing and you were just one thing was a psyop for millennials and Gen X, right? Then you have the nerd wins. Media pushing Big Bang Theory. Like, you don't have to better yourself, just be a little nerdy. And eventually you'll get everything you want. All right. So now we have the current trend. So this is the new generation's problem. And it's the looks maxing. Looks maxing is being promoted. Think about it. Which at least fights a little bit against the false idea that looks are predetermined and outside of your control. Your looks are 100% your control. Outside of a burn, like, even if you were burned, you could still make your body look toned. Even if you are missing limbs, there's plenty of people who are good looking missing limbs. That's ridiculous to think that doesn't, like, that's it for you. That's silly. I know a guy with the hottest wife ever, and he's a public speaker. No arms and no legs, right? Hot wife. Why? Because he's got a great attitude and he's a go-getter. And he didn't spend 5 seconds feeling sorry for himself. You know how awesome that is? But anyways, looks maxing, it's a little crazy because it's good and then it's bad. So there's two things that are, it's good because yes, you are in charge of what you look like to a very high degree. Your genetics are not it. Look, we had look at America, right? Look at what you look like in the 40s and look at what we look like now. Your genetics are not to be fat and swollen, whatever. That is your lifestyle. Your lifestyle changed. Like I have fish tanks, right? If the levels and like the chemicals are off, the fish will get sick and they could die. If the chemicals are good, the environment is good, they're healthy and happy. It's not the fish's genetics. It's the environment. That's like the most of it is the environment. So, okay. For looks maxing, the good part, let's talk about that. Health, good sleep, mouth taping, face shaping exercises. These are good things. Posture. We used to do these, in the 30s and the 40s, they had all of this stuff. So it's coming back. You know why people were so good looking? Because we would do this stuff. This was normal. This was passed down. So, walking mechanics, exercise, posture. Remember, like you'd have to walk with a book over your head. All of these things to teach you how to walk. This was very important. Girls would go to finishing school to learn how to walk so that they can fix their face shape. Like literally how you walk, your posture fixes your face shape. Not sitting is number one for looks maxing. Don't sit. You think that I wouldn't look 10 times better if I wasn't sitting right now? Of course, but all right. But then you have the bad parts of the looks maxing, the toxic, because you can't just do anything good. So this is a psyop part, the toxic part. Extreme surgeries, bone smashing. I mean, a little bit, vibration over here to build up the bone. Maybe you need it. It's a little bit. But if you're like beating the crap out of it, that's not good. Let's stop. All right. A little bit of vibration will build bone. You don't need to smash. I hate when they do that stuff. These kids have literal hammers to their faces. This is insane. These are insane things. So, the crippling leg lengthening surgeries. Could you imagine if Tom Cruise gave up on life because he was short? That dude, all he did was got braces to looks max, just regular old braces. And he did just fine being short. That's insane that you need to lengthen your legs. Stop, you guys. Stop. You could be hot and short. And I know, obviously, if you can pick anything and girls are on these apps and they can pick anything, of course they're going to pick, max out everything on the options because they get so many options. But, it's the same thing. Like if you guys could get anything, any girl you wanted, you would have ridiculous standards. So just because somebody says all these ridiculous standards doesn't mean that's the reality. They're gonna settle. Everybody does. Everybody matches with their own level at the end. So stop thinking you need to lengthen your legs. It's insane. Plenty of really tall girls that guys that are tall don't really like can be with the shorter guys. And like the supermodel with Tom Cruise, you think that didn't happen all the time? He was always with taller, sexy women. Of course. Stop. All right. Then we had, let's see. There's a lot here. All right. So what can we do about it? There's a lot. I've covered a lot of psyops today. What can we do? Oh, yeah. This is the new Neil Strauss. And it's not going good for Tatey anymore because, he posted, if you want you rich and famous, you can have any girl on the planet you realize are all scum and you don't want a single one. See, this is ridiculous because if you say, I'm going to cheat on you, right? I'm going to replace you. You're replaceable to me. The type of women you attract are transactional women. The ones who either want clout, so they want to siphon you for fame and money. They don't love you, so they're already broken. They're going to cheat on you. These are the type of women that this attracts. He can never, ever attract a good woman with this mentality. And I remember when I was very young and a boy wanted to date me. He came to my house to talk to my dad. My dad saw his supercar, looked him up and down, and slammed the door in his face. And it was like, we don't date this archetype. This archetype is a bad dude. This is the type of guy that's never going to be a good father. And he even says, don't live with your girl or whatever, or don't be there for your children, or just have kids everywhere and who cares. These are the people who they're not going to have good times. And I've talked about guys who are like this and what happens to the kids and how messed up they get. You got to be home if you're going to have kids. So these are like the hipsters. This is like the soft boy era. This is what we got now. The low T dudes. All right. So what can we do about it? This is where we are now. What are we going to do? Fleas in the jars. Remember that study? The fleas in the jars, right? They're bumping up on the lid. They keep trying and they keep hitting their head on the lid. And then somebody opens the jar. But the fleas stop trying. They stop trying, right? Learned helplessness. The world's going to end soon. AI is going to take our jobs. The future is bleak. Don't try. Don't bother. Give up. Climate change, nuclear war, AI taking all the jobs, economic collapse, the collapse of America. There's going to be floods and flood all the cities. We're all going to die anyways. Never-ending fear cycle. This is designed to keep you poor, to keep you depressed, to make sure you give up and never fight back. It's all of them, right? It's all the elites. There's no party lines here. Too many, too powerful, right? There's too many of them. I can't do anything. Who am I? All women are bad. All men are bad. You can't trust anyone. The immigrants are going to take our jobs. The money is going overseas. Helplessness, hopelessness, helplessness, hopelessness, right? But the reality is, you can always do something, and we are the many. They are literally 1% holding down 99%. The odds are wild in our favor. So what can you do? Get more job skills, right? Build community, connections, actually talk to people. Stop calling people. What is it? No, it's not. I would never let him dress like that. Yes. Limit your digital use and stop listening to like these predictive programming shows that are degenerate. Like, I remember every kid was like a drug dealer in school because we were just like, especially, it was so funny. It was like the little nerdy white boy from the upper middle class family wanted to steal drugs because he got into rap music. And then he wanted a big booty Latina girl or something. This is all a psyop, you guys. I'm not saying nothing, no shame. Big booty Latinas are beautiful and wonderful and good for you. But like, you don't have to deal drugs, okay? You don't have to deal. All right? You're fine. You're going to be fine. You can be successful without dealing drugs. Oh my God. Yes. So don't fear AI. AI cannot replace us. It's a lie. Just like climate change. Allegedly. It's all a lie. It's all a psyop. You're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Right? The world is not going to end. Okay? Even when countries collapse, people are fine. All right? So yes, plan for the future. Yes. Try to get a good job. Yes. You can start a business. Stop the corporate slavery. Start a business. Get involved in local politics. I've been saying it. Get involved in local politics. You have power. Locally. Start locally. If we all bother the crap out of the school system locally, out of the government locally, make sure they're not pushing anything through that we don't agree with. Get involved. We have there's 99% of us, right? We don't have to fall for these psyops. Stop letting them depress you. The world won't end. 10 years are going to fly by and you're going to realize, shit, I should have started something. I should have done something with my life. But instead, I decided to feel sorry for myself and be a victim. No more victim. If you want to do that, do that. But I would say just start with policies. Pass the policy that no taxes happen, right? Pass that. They want to take away federal income tax and replace it with a 30% goods tax, a 30% sales tax on everything. That will cripple us as a society, cripple us. We need to stop taking this shit. Yes. Exactly. And I'm not saying do anything illegal or violent. I'm saying be a part of politics. Go to your local, whatever, whenever they're passing laws locally, your state, your freaking county laws, be a part of it. I'm sorry you're busy and you have work and you're stressed and this and blah, blah, blah. Go to your local government. Make sure they're not passing any laws you don't agree with. Read the bills, throw them through AI and see if there's anything that you need. Find like an AI that's not controlled opposition or whatever. Like find an AI that's actually like will show you whatever. But make sure that the people who now have the power do not destroy us with their little psyops. And you can do whatever you want if you just pay attention. And they will, it doesn't matter how terrible they tell you the world is, you will look around and see people who are succeeding. Always in the worst climates, in the worst wars, and the worst points in histories, there's people who are doing great. And it's the people who put one foot on front of the other and said, I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to figure out what to do for me and my family and my future. And I'm not going to be negative, and I'm not going to be what they want, an addictive, cheating, loser, passive, victim mentality. I'm not going to be those things. I'm going to be the opposite of those things. Maybe you guys can start churches that are real churches. We need those. Right now we have PSYOP churches. Down the block, there's a rainbow church run by a woman. Look, and they're just basically like, you could do whatever you want. You could be your own God. I don't know where it says that. But, you know, men have left the church for a while now. I think Norman Rockwell did a painting about it. It was like the women and the children going to church and the husband like, I'm just going to sit home and drink a beer and relax. I'm tired from working. When you give up authority in your community, this is what happens. Empower yourself. Create organizations, create social organizations. You guys need to have friends and community. You can't be online all the time complaining. You need to have community. And the only way to have community is to find something you want to do for fun. That's an outdoor type of activity. Start a club. Go on meetup.com. Start a club. I think you might have to pay, whatever, pay. Instead of like saying, oh, I'll be better when I have like a wife and kids. No. First, you need friends. You can't have a wife and kids without friends. First, get your friends, right? First, get your social stuff. First, have a life, a full life. Do your rocky moment. Make yourself a better person. Figure it out. And then at the end, you can go and people will come to you. Once you've achieved, once you are settled, once you are happy with your life, everybody's going to be attracted. That's how it works. You attract what you are. When you are good and happy people come to you. Okay, just watch my streams and then immediately get offline. But like set up some sort of like an alert or something. I don't know. Look, it is what it is. I'd rather you all do well in life. Who cares? All right. Teach young people to identify based on like the content of social media. A lot of people just read the headlines, right? I feel that the social media stuff, it's going to get more fake. It's going to get more AI. It's going to get more to make the public hate each other. And this is where we have to stop watching all of this crap, right? They're going to tell you this side is bad, that side is bad. But the reality is they're controlling us to pit us against each other. Stop letting it happen. Your liberal neighbor isn't your enemy. They're a little confused, but they're not your enemy. Okay? Your super MAGA other neighbor is also not your enemy, right? They think, if you think one side is good and one side is bad, you don't understand. There's no sides anymore. There's just the 99% and the 1% and the people that they have puppets to rule between. Do not watch any news. Go yourself to the local governments, find the bills, get involved yourself. You don't need the news. If you are not a part of your community, you cannot sit there, watch TV, and complain. Be a part of your community. This is your job. You want to make better choices. You want to feel better about your life. You want to empower yourself. Get involved in the community. This is not a tinfoil hat. This is not a tinfoil hat. You have to be a part of your community. You have to get out there and figure out what laws they're trying to pass and if you want them to happen in your community. And if you don't, you need to stop them. You need to rally like a war cry against them. Go knock on your neighbors' doors. Talk to your freaking neighbors. How many times have you guys even talked to your neighbors about what's going on? You got to do it. So stop thinking that you can just passively watch television and be on X and watch YouTube and watch all this stuff and your world is going to change. That's not how it works. You got to get out there. Somebody needs to go make an organization in your community and it's going to be you. But I don't want to. You do. You want the outcome. So that's what we're going to do from now on. We're going to be the change we want to see in this world and all that stuff. Yes, I will someday match your energy. But anyways, that is all for today, you guys. Also check out Hyperboron's, I don't know if I'm saying that right, channel and his thing on Millennials. He has 2 parts of it. Also, the nice guy trope. We've talked about the nice guy in previous episodes, so I didn't go into that, but he has a good thing on that too, like how they condition guys to be nice guys, which is more of the passivity conditioning for men. Just stop that because they want you to be the nice guy. Don't like do anything bad. Ask for permission. No. Be a part of your community and get involved. Build networks. All right, guys. So, get out there, stop fighting with each other, and fight for your communities. Have a great rest of your week, and like, subscribe, comment, share, whatevs. Someday I'll get monetized. Probably not anytime soon, but whatever. Doing what we do. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.
The old gods whisper with tongues of sin. They crawl through culture to pull you in. Don't be for sale, don't wear their grin. The old are rotten, don't let them win. Eyes and hats and mirrored glass. They promised youth, they cursed your past. You drank the lie with ruby lips, but every toast is one